Masturbation.
Why are you watching?
What the fuck is that? Dude, we can't afford a John Williams fanfare. That shit's expensive. Ah, fuck it. Just start the show.
No, what I was going to say is, since you guys didn't talk last week, have you guys talked about this whole Syrian thing? The refugees?
We did not.
You know, a lot of these countries with these refugees are actually saying they don't want them for fear of terrorist acts from
Well,
ISIS
yeah,
and
why?
places
Why?
like that.
But
For more than one
why
reason,
would
right?
they
Try and take
because they would look for them or they planted them.
Yeah.
Either way.
They even, what was it, like the first part of September, they even said we're going to use the refugees to...
Well, yeah, you already
West,
have,
so.
you
Right.
have to assume that. But then it's a point of trying to vet these people as actual good human beings,
No.
which you can't fucking do.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do that.
Well, but here's the thing. If I were to run a terrorist organization,
Okay.
and I were to create a situation where people were fleeing out of my regime, okay, first off, those would all be bad people because my regime would be fucking awesome.
Why would they be leaving?
Right, why would they be leaving? They're stupid people.
Yeah.
But let's pretend for some reason I was bad at my job. Or creating a general environment of havoc and terror.
Okay.
Okay? I would not be destroying art. Nor would I be selling it on the black market.
Yeah, they're being
because
giant
I'm a
douchebags.
much
Okay.
better dictator. But let's pretend I was a douchebag dictator running a terrorist regime. If people were fleeing the area that I now controlled, the first thing I would do is announce that I'm going to use the people fleeing to attack.
Yeah, so
Because that's going to make it harder for you to
to
deal with the
leave.
refugees.
First of all, it's going to make them harder for them to leave because they won't be accepted anywhere.
And it's going to put everybody else in fear
and
of
it
them.
sows seeds of fear. Yep.
But we don't need to be afraid. We don't. We don't need to be afraid. Fear itself is our greatest enemy.
We have nothing to
Fear,
fear,
but
but
fear
fear
itself.
Of course.
I know, I thought of that as soon as I said it. I should have done the whole FDR voice.
So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
But no, really, we're tearing ourselves apart because we're afraid of what might happen.
Oh yeah, no, I
Better to be
may be
reactionary.
a bad
after,
person.
After the bad things happen.
No, people are fucking starving and dying.
No, I agree.
Where?
People need to take that
On the fucking water.
Well, that's because they got in the boat. If they would have stayed home, they had plenty of food.
No, they didn't. They didn't have plenty of food.
How do
They
you
were
know?
getting raped and murdered.
No, because ISIS took the food and RPG'd the horses.
Fight for your shit.
I forgot where I was going. Oh, George.
No, whoa. I have issue with this. Fight for your shit. Isn't it a mark of people, governments, that they care for the people who can't care for themselves?
Yeah, in your government.
ISIS
Well, but
is
the United Nations is a world...
It's not a government.
They're
No,
They are
they
not
are
a
a governing
government.
body. The hell they're not. They have a
Bullshit.
Congress, they convene, they pass rules that are enforced across
and they're
member
corrupt as
nations.
fuck, and they don't.
No,
need
they're
it.
not.
Wasn't
Oh,
it-
no.
They-
I'm not talking to you.
they
I'm talking to
passed
him.
rules.
They're not, they don't have enforceable laws.
Yes, they do.
Oh, really? They're going to march in and make you obey like they make all the rest of the country? Oh, no. They try to get a whole bunch of... They try to get the economic powers to put sanctions on the countries that aren't obeying them because they can't enforce anything that they want
Sure
done.
they can. We send UN troops into places all the fucking time to enforce shit. You've never seen TV where we have a whole bunch of guys with American flags on
And
one
the blue
shoulder
hats.
and a blue
They got
hat?
the blue hats.
Who's there? The UN
Yeah,
troops
the
or the
American-
American troops?
They are American troops that are acting as UN troops.
Okay.
So they're American.
No, they are.
They're American troops.
They're
Acting
American.
as UN troops.
Temporary
There are
UN
also
troops.
British soldiers with blue hats. There are a lot. It's not just American.
Well, yeah,
soldiers
no, they
with
got
blue
the
hats.
no,
they
we
got the
know.
blue hat and their
We
flag.
know.
Right. They have their flag of their nation and their blue hat. So we do. The UN does send troops to enforce rules.
Sure.
They do.
Not very often, but okay.
But here's the thing: if a standard is a good standard, it should apply to everything, right?
That's really,
right.
Wow.
No. If a standard is, if something is a litmus test, if this is the litmus test, this is what a governing body is supposed to do.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying you protect your people?
Well, protect the weakest among us, not your people.
Okay.
Because the argument that was made previously that I'm citing, it had nothing to do with citizens.
Okay.
It had to do with the weakest people
who couldn't protect themselves.
Who couldn't protect themselves.
Okay.
Right. Refugees can't protect themselves.
Bullshit.
Those 4-year-old kids that are drowning in a boat can protect themselves.
Their parents can.
But they're not, so I don't give a shit what their parents can do.
So send the kids.
Fine.
But no, they're not. But what they're doing, so do you even read the articles? So what's happening is most of these refugees, okay, are the adults, the adult men. The women and children are left behind because they say, fuck them.
I'm not talking about most of the refugees. I'm talking about there are women and children that are refugees.
I'm sure there are.
Lots of them.
And the women can fight too, right? They're rangers now.
Fine. The children can't.
Fair enough.
Why aren't we doing something?
Somebody was making the point of everybody, not everybody in Europe, but some of the European countries are taking refugees. And at what point are the United States going to start taking refugees? And then I saw a post from George Takei talking about how his parents were taken into the internment camps because that was during World War II. I don't fucking care if it makes me sound like a bad person. Set up camps for the Syrians. Take children and women, none of the able-bodied men, and the elderly.
Hey, they all want free everything. They want equality. If the men,
But you're saying these people are leaving their
homeland.
I
understand the flaw in my argument because you break apart families and shit like that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying people are leaving their homeland to make a better life for their family.
Yes. Better than
They're
what they
taking action.
Yes, retreating is an action.
Well,
yes.
Escaping.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying...
Every fucking one of us here, well, maybe not every one of us, I don't know all of our personal heritage, but the vast majority of people living in this country were escaping something when they came here. We're a land of people who left a shitty situation to make a better one.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are. Whether it was religious persecution or political persecution or economic persecution, immigrants to America.
It strays what it means to be America. The land of opportunity, the land where everybody can come in and make something for themselves. You should bring the Syrians in.
I'm just saying, they didn't fight for themselves. Okay, but maybe that guy is saying, it's more important for me to make sure my wife and kids get out of here than it is for me to pick up a gun and shoot that guy.
But that's not what they're doing.
Die. Well, we don't know that's what not what everybody's doing. There are families that are traveling together.
There are some, yes, but most of the refugees are male. So maybe they have different kinds of families over there. I don't know.
Well, maybe they do, but
there's cases even in the U.S. where you have people on the East Coast when they're trying to populate the West Coast. They only had money for one person to get there, or even rations for one person to get there. And they went there and they said, "I'll send for you."
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're doing. We don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right, but those people who went from east to west weren't leaving because their wife and kids were going to get butchered.
They wanted to go.
Supposedly.
They wanted to.
Supposedly, because that's why they're leaving. That's not the same.
What about somebody who doesn't have a family?
Just a single male.
Just a single guy.
You're fucked. Sorry. You might find work in a coal mine or whatever the equivalent of a Mexican job is in Europe.
What if they would like to work in a coal mine rather than worry about getting shot or pressed into military service?
Then they can take. They're foreign workers. They show up here. They usually have permits when they show up here, but they show up here too. They take the shitty jobs. They take the jobs in fucking kitchens.
Right.
That's what happens. People move and they get new jobs.
Right.
We don't need to take them in as refugees. If they can find a fucking job and make...
Well, all refugee means is they're leaving a country where there's turmoil.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean that...
Right, and in order to come here, you need a work visa or
show you have a purpose.
Well, you can. There's vacationing visas.
Yeah,
well, I don't know if you need
student visas.
Depends on what country you come from, I
yes,
guess.
It does.
And they happen to be coming from a country that's not very friendly with us.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The whole they only say death to America because their parents said it. That's just an ingrained.
Well, no, that's Iran. This is death to America.
That's right. You're right.
This is Syria. So I asked us for help overthrowing their government.
You're right.
When? Just now?
No.
Years ago, we were actually talking about overthrowing their government because the Syrian people wanted the dictator out.
He was a president, not a dictator.
President for life.
Right.
There you go.
Unelected.
There's a difference.
Right, like Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
He's an unelected president for life.
I love Putin's moves, by the way. Just shove everything right next to Syria and be like, it's like playing Risk with the guy who puts all of his troops right on the edge of your border with him. Goes, I'm not going to attack you next turn. Don't worry about it. I don't know what you're talking about.
The one guy who
don't worry about
manages to
that.
control all the green countries.
Mm-hmm. It's like, don't worry about that.
Let Putin deal with him. There you go. They can all flee to Russia.
Yeah, right the fuck ahead. Just keep our fucking noses out of it. We already did enough over there. We did enough.
Well, we fuck it up every time we go. That's the problem.
But pick a thing. You want us to help or you don't want us to help. And if we're going to help, why shouldn't we be able to help with self-interest involved?
Oh, I have no problem with us helping.
No, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, well, how come you're not taking refuge? How come you're not going in there and kicking ass? How come you're not? Well, you guys don't like it when we decide that we want to go in there for our reason. Doesn't matter whatever the reason you believe we ever did anything. I don't care. But it's okay when all the rest of the world doesn't want to deal with it, or they have to deal with.
I would say problems. The rest of the world is having to deal with this now.
The problem is some of these small groups we helped fund.
Oh yeah,
and so did a lot of other countries.
Well, yeah, but I don't give a fuck about other countries' responsibility. That's not my concern. I'm concerned about my responsibility.
You don't have any responsibility.
Yeah, I do. My tax dollars went to it.
We probably funded both sides.
Probably.
So it kind of is a wash.
Yeah. Well, but like Saddam, when we invaded Iraq, and people are like, well, how do we know he has weapons of mass destruction?
We don't.
No, we do. We do.
Oh, sorry, we
still
do.
Have the
we bought them.
receipts.
That's right. Yes.
We have the UPS packaging labels.
Yes.
We have the freight bills.
We
shipped him weapons of mass destruction. We have an obligation there.
Well, I'm sure we're going to find him pretty soon when Syria starts using them. Or whoever's left in control.
I was going to say, whoever's actually winning at that point.
50.5% of refugees from Syria are women aged 18 to 59.
Half? So, like...
Males age 8... Oh, no, wait. 50.5% of refugees are women. Females age 18 to 59 make up 23.9%. Males age 18 to 59 make up 21.8%. Younger males 12 to 17 make up 6.5%. Females 12 to 17 make up 6.1%.
So not a lot of children.
But the majority are women. You said the majority were able-bodied men. They are not.
All right, fine. By 0.5%.
No, able-bodied men age 18 to 59 are 21.8%.
Okay.
Less than a quarter. Able-bodied women are 23.9%, but total women is 50.5%.
Like I said, either just be xenophobes and don't let them in, or take the women and children and put them in camps and vet them out.
I have no problem we provide refugee camps and provide for refugees. Look at how much money we sent, how much money and food we sent over to African nations that we trusted warlords to distribute to their war-torn countries.
Yeah.
How much we give Brazil.
And
they just embezzle it all.
We piss away so much money. These people actually need it.
Yeah.
Step up and help those people.
Yeah. Build a big camp somewhere in Texas, because there's lots of flat, open land there, and it's hot and dry.
Oh, no. We don't even have to build a camp somewhere in Texas. Don't we have entire parts of Alaska that are getting so warm the ice can't stand there?
Okay, or Alaska.
And we have not enough people in Alaska.
There you go.
This sounds like a win-win. And you're away from anything serious infrastructure other than a pipeline.
Yeah, you're just in Alaska.
That's our major source.
Well, but we can watch that.
Okay.
So
we can watch everything.
It's a hell of a lot easier than watching Texas.
So
where they have drive-through liquor stores and drive-through gun shops.
Well,
Well, it doesn't
Right
matter.
over.
They're
Anyway,
Muslim.
what do
They
you
won't
want to
drink.
say?
while you guys
Oh
were
no, they're
bitching,
not. Syria isn't. Oh.
Well, what?
while you guys
They
were
can-
bitching, the United Nations is an intergovernmental organization to promote international cooperation. There are 6 principal organs: the General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council,
The-
Secretariat, and the International Court of Justice, the primary judicial organ.
The problem is, with all of these multinational governments,
My point with that is they have to deal with the law if they're the primary of the 193 countries that are involved in it.
they're
Right, but no country has to listen to them. A lot of them don't
No,
all the
no,
time.
you-
The ones that break
Didn't the
their
UN say we
laws.
couldn't go to war and then we went to war with Iraq, or was that?
That's right.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
but you're forgetting a very key point.
Yeah.
But
There are
my
5
opinion-
countries that have veto power over any UN regulation whatsoever.
China, Russia,
For the
France,
US.
Britain, and the
193
US. One of them is us. So when the
if they
UN
want-
makes a resolution that says America can't go to
I
war,
mean, I understand
we
what
veto
you're
it.
saying.
Yeah,
It's not.
that's
It's,
what we do.
So that's why we
it's a
think of the
useless
UN as
waste of
ineffective,
people's time.
because it
Because
can't affect
can't
us.
stop
Unless it affects
Okay.
us, then we
And
say fuck
that's
it.
right.
And then we,
It's
which
the
is
same
what
reason
every
people
other
in-
country does too, because they're all sovereign nations.
But that's why we say the UN is ineffective, because it can't affect us by design. The same
Or
way
anyone else.
No, it can affect any country except for the US, China, Russia,
France, and Britain.
and Britain.
That's why Iran didn't have to listen to him ever.
Iran
the
did listen.
headquarters-
That's why they
No,
had
they
severe
didn't. They
sanctions.
still aren't.
The headquarters is in Manhattan.
Yep.
Yes.
They're
With a
the
bunch of
UN
flags.
inspectors still don't get to inspect their stuff because Iran's just going to send their own people in and let the UN inspectors know what happened.
But the UN could choose to go in
No, they've tried, and Iran walked their asses out
because the UN decided not to enforce.
because they
They're-
can't.
No, they can't.
They can only send troops and try to enforce something in a country that has no powers completely
The
destabilized.
reason the UN couldn't enforce in Iran is because Russia and Iran were allies, and Russia has the same veto power on the Security Council that we do. It's not that the UN was ineffective.